So now we move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Seattle Seahawks. The Jags coming off of, one of the biggest wins in their franchise's history, certainly in the Trevor Lawrence era, in the Liam Cohen era, a signature win over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, they're a little downtrodden and haven't been starting hot, but that's still a major win against a major opponent. So we got to give props to the Jaguars in that case, but also they're hosting another team that has really come out of the gates hot in the Seattle Seahawks. Had some tough luck through the first couple weeks of the season between the Niners loss and last week against the Buccaneers. But yeah, this is a team that's it's looked great. I think they're one of the more underrated teams in the league, one of the more complete teams in the league in Seattle. So this should be a very fun game. I think the Jaguars have been doubted quite a bit leading up to last week, and I think they really put a stamp on the team that they can be, and have shown you that they're a contender. Turtle's gonna, it's gonna be tough to swallow because they're firmly ahead of the Texans right now, along with the Indianapolis Colts. Texans are in an unfamiliar position as of late, towards the bottom of the AFC South. But all in all, Christian, what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on where the Seahawks are at, and what to expect from them here against the Buccaneers?
Well, I think a Liam Cohen offense is, as you've seen the last couple of years, is predicated on establishing a run game. And props to him, he's done a great job at doing so. Um, I think he's done a great job incorporating Travis Hunter. I think everyone had questions on how someone was going to play both ways, and he's used Travis Hunter almost like perfectly to date. So extremely excited about what Jacksonville has moving forward. Um, it's always good to see an organization just become a competent organization um, in a $1 billion industry. It's always good to see. Um, but with that being said, I do think right now it is a little bit fraudulent. Um, Robert Hainsey went down on Monday, so I think he's a real leader in that locker room. So we'll see if he is able to go this weekend. But let's be honest here: the secondary for the Kansas City Chiefs is terrible, um, and the defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs did not look that great on Monday night as well. Um, and the Seahawks have one of the best defensive lines in football. You're not going to be able to hide a Patrick McCarry. You're not going to be able to hide an Anton Harrison. Um, and then defensively, come on, guys. This is Eric Murray. I think he showed out this year. I think he's already played up to his contract. He's performed uh, way better than anticipated. Um, Andrew Wingard looked great. Jordan Lewis has looked good. You really have to shout out the defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanile. Um, we kind of talked about him earlier this year, but he's done a really great job so far. So I give him credit, but a Seahawks team at full strength is way better than the Jacksonville Jaguars to me. Um, Now the one question mark I do have about the Seahawks, obviously the health of the secondary. Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love did not play um, last week, so we'll see if they're good to go. Um, but regardless, Tariq Woolen is the big question mark for me. Seems like he loses focus, and Jacksonville Jaguars are definitely going to look to take advantage of that matchup with whoever it is. If it's Travis Hunter on a big play, if it's Brian Thomas on a big play, I think they're going to try and exploit that matchup. So just look out for that. But other than that, I think the Seahawks are a much better football team, um, just when it comes to the actual talent on the roster.
Yeah, just to fire back from that point, and to kind of you stole my thunder a little bit with what I was going to say. I do expect this to kind of be uh, a little bit of a return to reality for this Jaguars team. I think that they've Trevor Lawrence and what he's been able to do has been questionable. The record shows you that they've been very successful so far this season, but I still have a lot of questions about Trevor Lawrence's play. And Liam Cohen is undoubtedly shown you that he is a very good coach. But I think the talent disparity here with what the Jaguars are working with versus, again, as you said, that defensive line in Seattle and what Sam Darnold's been able to do. I mean, we got to give some props to Sam Darnold and the quarterback that he's proven himself to be. He's shown you that he's not just a Kevin O'Connell merchant. Now, we'll have to see it in the big games as the season goes on. We were on pumpkin watch all year last year with Sam Darnold. But now that we're at the point in the season where, every game matters, especially in a division as competitive as the NFC West, where any three of, any one of the 49ers, Rams, or Seahawks have shown you that they could be a contender this year. This is a huge game for the Seahawks. I think they're going to be ready. I think they're going to be able to dominate on both sides of the ball. I think this is going to be a big win for the Seahawks and a return to reality for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've shown a lot so far in terms of being able to win and facing adversity, because they've definitely faced some adversity in these wins with the play of Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, I still have some serious questions. I'm not ready to pick them over a team that looks to be as complete as the Seahawks. And boy, that game last week between the Seahawks and the Buccaneers, I mean, that is a sneaky contender for game of the year. That game was awesome. Just fireworks on both sides. So, yeah, I think the Seahawks are in a great position to make a run at the NFC West this year. I think they're going to roll this week, and I think it's going to be a comfortable win. I think that, this spread is showing a little bit too much respect to a Jacksonville Jaguars team that beat a Chiefs team that I think we can say for sure now that they've been overrated for a little bit. Turtle, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like Seattle. I kind of wish this was a Seattle home game, because if the Jags are playing on Monday night, then they travel all the way to the Pac Northwest to play this game, I would absolutely hammer Seattle. But I still think Seattle is the better football team. You mentioned it, Christian. If they get those guys back in the secondary this week, I think that would be huge for them. The total sitting at 44.5 right now. So definitely some respect to these two defenses. And I'm surprised we didn't give a shout out to Jackson Smith and Jigba, man. That guy is a absolute killer. He is a baller. I think there will be certainly some opportunities for him in this game, even if McDuffie follows him. You mentioned it, Christian. I think that the Chiefs defense, by and large, it has showed some serious holes when it comes to defending the pass. So look, I like Seattle. I think Seattle is just a slightly better version of the Jags. I think both teams are respectably balanced. They can both run the football and they can pass. I think both defenses have showed they're solid this season so far at almost every single level. Be interesting to see if Jacksonville gets Trayvon Walker back. That might be able to be assistance, but look, Seattle's offensive line has played surprisingly well this year, in my opinion. I think they've overexceeded expectations. And look, you guys can sit there and call me a Jacksonville hater. I certainly am. I thought they were going to win like 6 or 7 games this year. I will admit I was wrong about that. I think Liam Cohen is he's a goofy guy, but he can coach some football. So I'll admit I was wrong about the Jags. They're certainly a tough football team, but I think Seattle is just going to be able to execute them this week. I think the line is probably just about right if you factor in home field advantage. It's saying they're about even teams, and I could see that case being made. But again, I'm with you guys. I think Seattle is just a smidgen better, and for that reason, I think that there's certainly some value with them as an underdog.
I think a lot of this. I think I'm going with the Jags on this one. Actually, I think a lot of this is going to be riding on what Trayvon Walker's condition is going to be, to see how that defensive front is going to play. I think Seattle has looked actually really well from an offensive line perspective, and it's allowed Sam Darnold to kind of do what he's done. Seattle's going across the country, though. They're going from Seattle to Jacksonville. I mean, it's got to be one of the longest plane rides, in the NFL. Right now, I think, you can't underestimate what a win like the Jags just had on Monday night does for a team season. I mean, Trevor Lawrence played. He dropped his nuts on the table when it mattered, and that's what you want to see. We're finally seeing Trevor Lawrence start to make those steps. I think they've been able to run the ball very effectively with Travis Etienne, and the offensive line has actually held up pretty well. I mean, Trevor Lawrence isn't running for his life, forced to do 5-6 yard scrambles to get out of everything. He's getting time back there. I think Liam Cohen's really getting a lot more comfortable as, head coach and play caller for this team. You've seen them take the steps. I mean, and just like I said, I mean, you cannot underestimate what a game like that does for an entire team and an entire organization, how they played against the Chiefs. At home, give me Duval at 1.5. I think the Jags continue to ride this hot streak. And, I just don't see it stopping now.
Mike rolling with Duval. Yeah, he's a goofy guy, but we got to respect what Liam Cohen's been able to do so far. But, again, I think this is, a game that brings Jacksonville back to reality at some level, just based on how complete of a team Seattle is. But
I think they're both complete teams,
note.
to be honest.
Yeah. My final note, this is not going to last forever.
Yeah, what do you guys think real quick? Just the AFC South as a division in general. I know that preseason we sat here and thought that it was going to be a runaway show.
We were very wrong.
I was very wrong. I guess maybe you were too, Pat. I don't know about these other guys, but I was certainly very wrong. This division is kind of intriguing now, other than the Tennessee Titans. Very intriguing.
As a guy who has $440 on the Jags to win over 7.5 games this year, I'm liking it so far.
I don't trust the Jags O-line. I don't trust the Jags O-line or the defense. Like the defensive secondary, more importantly. And then the Colts just remind me of the Giants team that made the playoffs that one year. Basically.
With the quarterback, with the same exact quarterback as well.
Yeah, they have some similarities.
They won a playoff game.
You have Jonathan Taylor, Saquon. The O-line's holding up. You
got weapons around as well.
Similar defense.
Tyler Warren's having a great year.
Good defense.
That team that Giants team beat in the playoffs, that Vikings team was the most fraudulent 13-win team.
That too. So they could win a playoff game against, let's say, the Pittsburgh Steelers if they were a wild card team. Easy.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. There's a lot of season left, but I think down the stretch, it's going to be kind of a fun division to watch, one way, shape, or form. But I gotta give the Jags some credit through 5 games. They've looked better than I thought they would look. So this is gonna be my podcast where I eat some crow.